Oh my God, we're here at Namta with so many different interesting characters. Last night we go to an event at SeaWorld, and so I was the roving spy. And before that we went to Peabody Hotel where they have the duck parade. This gentleman was one of the honorary marshals. His baseball cap is casting a shadow there on him. And I'm just using the pit pen in one of these old beautiful ledgers. It's a doctor's ledger from 1937. Fairly thin paper. You'll notice I'm not going through the paper. Nice, strong, rich deposits of ink. The next page is really clear. So I went through the crowd and was just drawing people. There was this woman with an owl right here. You know, so the owl is actually kind of a ginger color. I'm going to kind of tone some of this down. See how I can smear just a little bit in here. One of my favorite things to do. That little fluffier look to the feathers. Totally uninhibited by everybody that was at the party. Is a little screech owl. And then throw a little bit of the shadow of the bird on her arm like that. Boink. We're going to go fast here. We're going to go fast. And so this guy's wearing some nice little comfy sneaks, probably a light gray, make his white socks stand out a little bit. You'll notice as I'm going over prior line with the pit pen, I'm not lifting it, no solvents. So I can do that. I can come back in and rework areas. One of the salespeople, Mr. Mooney, there with his lei around him. And this was Jay from Wet Paint. We're making a pitch for the good folks at Wet Paint. He was up there jiggling around with the dancers on stage. So we're flipping the book on you so you can get a lot of different angles. Here were the ducks. We went to see the ducks. So you're going to look at me this way, and we'll flip it on the screen and watch me draw. Trust me, this is going to work. For example, in Chicago, when I was on the train drawing some guys, I get most of what I can record right there on that moment in time, and then I'll come back occasionally what I can remember and fill in some details and information right here. So you can see that the train had a series of windows. I mean, actually, this is the bus, excuse me. So on the 22. There's a series of windows that would go down the bus. So I'm getting that foreshortening in the seat right here. And so I'll just come back in and what I can remember, tone some things down to complete the drawing. So I do a combination of working on site and then maybe if the drawing needs to be a little richer. This jacket was a light green. So I came back in. I'm going to come back in, the light coming in from the left. So I want to give a sense of directional lighting. Toning the jacket down just a little bit. Makes this edge pop out against the background. Look at that. Again, none of the prior work is being lifted. See that line? Clarity of the line stays right as intended on the page. I'm working with actually a couple different medium in this book. You can see me combining different stuff. This is a grease pencil, which we don't make, but you know I tend to use a lot of different things. And you will notice kind of a cool effect here in a second with the pit pen. Most people don't think to do this. Now the page has a certain color to it, and it's kind of an ivory color. But if I want something nice and white and clean, I'll lay down a section of it right here. I'm going to show you pit pen on the page. Isolate this guy's khaki pants with a little tone. But look at how it changes when it's on top of another medium. I get strokes and things like that. If I leave that alone long enough on this page right here, you can see this. You can see that it sets up. And I can smudge it like that. Initially when I go down on top of it, I can manipulate it. See my fingerprints? But when it dries, those fingerprints will stay put, as this is dried right over here. And I can come back on top with watercolor on these guys, a lot of different stuff. I am all about adding various mediums. This is a Albert Durer watercolor pencil. And I'm going to come back on top of that with a little water. This is a pit pen. And you'll notice pen is not being affected by the water. For example, you can see through there and see the edge. So that way you can sort of build the image up with a variety of different marks, pigments, and you get a rich surface. Smoky areas, crisp, sharp, graphic areas like this. You can get all kinds of incidental stuff where you lose a little control, and so the medium starts having a little more of say. And I like that. I like to try and take control away from myself so everything doesn't break down like real determined hatching.